That's 91.9 FM WCLK, Atlanta's jazz station, and I'm Riva Blue, and I'm sitting here with Elliot Holden, a guitarist extraordinaire, as I'm beginning to learn more about you. And on, Wednesday, September 9th, you're going to be at Cafe 290 with your group. What size group is it?
Three-piece.
A three-piece group. And you come from like a hip-hop, jazzy type of sound with a Jimi Hendrix influence. Could you tell me a little bit more about your style and your music and your performance for this coming Wednesday at Cafe 290?
Sure. Well, I think you kind of summed it up a little bit with the hip-hop, groovy kind of guitars. So it's kind of like if you would imagine like Jimi Hendrix if he was around today.
Yeah.
Like what would that sound like if he were produced by Dr. Dre? Okay, so you're going to get something similar to the cinematic urban music that I kind of, produce or play. So it does have a lot of guitar. I have guitar roots from rock guitar soloists, jazz guitar soloists, blues guys. But then I also came up on hip-hop, so I just kind of decided to kind of combine the two. Not necessarily like Run DMC and Aerosmith type of deal. I wanted to be a little bit more symbiotic. I don't know if that's a word. Not saying that tune wasn't, but I'm just saying not just like a one-off thing. More like an actual style of music. Where some people just do these one-off, Jay-Z and Limp Bizkit or Linkin Park or whatever, Run DMC and Aerosmith. They're these one-off things to do these big pop tunes, and this is about the sound, not necessarily a song, so.
I went to YouTube and I see you also write a lot of your music, but you also perform a lot of Jimi Hendrix music as well. Is that?
Sure. Yeah, I do. I mean, it kind of depends on the gig, but I know a lot of his music, a lot of Jimmy's music because I started off playing that stuff. So
I said to myself, he must be Jimi Hendrix reincarnated.
Yeah.
Is that how you feel, or what?
I don't know. Is that how I feel?
Yeah.
No.
No.
But that's definitely a compliment. But that's not. I mean, it's some. Thank God for Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
Because I think when Jimmy came around, it wasn't very easily to say, "Hey, Jimmy, you're kind of like so and so reincarnated." There was nobody to really compare it to.
No, because he was actually like one of the first to do what he was doing with the guitar.
Absolutely.
He even created the guitar to do things that he wanted it to do.
Absolutely.
And how he wanted it to sound.
Absolutely. So, him having done that already, there's not a lot of point in reinventing the wheel. He's done that. I do a lot of those things that he kind of did, or I try to anyway.
Like what? What is that?
Feedback, distortion. Those kind of sounds.
So you're running something through I don't know, my cousin Richard was telling me about it earlier. He's also sitting here, so if he wants to make a little comment every now and then, we'll hear his voice in the background. But he said something about running and what was that, Richard?
Running it through a loop to feed it back to a different amplifier. Run it through an alternative loop before it comes. It doesn't just come straight from the guitar to the amplifier all the time. It's called a feedback loop. But
Sure.
you could elaborate on. Are you
Sure.
extensively into feedback?
No, not extensively. Like I was saying, whereas Jimmy experimented with the sounds and the songwriting too. I think he's more known for the guitar over the top pyrotechnics. I don't think to the masses he's respected, for the songwriting as much as this guy was doing crazy stuff on guitar and he was burning his guitar and he was a hell of a player. But to people that listen, we know, okay, he was a good songwriter too. So I think for me, it's like trying to chart, I don't want to say new territory, but a new amalgamation of a sound. Because me combining rock and hip hop grooves, those two things in and of themselves aren't necessarily new. But I think by just focusing, on groove and rhythm and sound, hip hop uses a lot of sampled sounds. That's something Jimi Hendrix couldn't have done because it just wasn't even possible. So there's a way that certain things sound together. That's why you sample something, you change the pitch, whatever, and you have this thing that's not quite like the original. So when it comes to production and things like that, I'm just very open since we have tools that weren't there then. And then on top of it, there's the guitar solos, there's things like that.
I noticed listening to YouTube and watching it that a lot of your fans, they get really excited when you're playing. And is it that you're playing with your teeth, you're playing behind your back? What is it that you're doing that's so exciting? Or is it just the music itself?
I like to think it's just the music itself, I'm sure it's not my mug, that they're getting excited over. It's probably the music. But I again, for me, whereas Hendrix, he had a certain audience he was kind of playing to. So here I am. I would like for people that maybe not normally be a guitar fan, to, I won't say cater, but find out what they might like to pull them in. Because guitar people already like guitar music. But I'm finding that people that aren't normally guitar fans, they kind of find it interesting, sexy, whatever. Especially if there's something done that they can grasp onto, a common denominator, So
how long have you been playing?
I've been playing for 27 years, I think.
But how did you pick up on the Jimi Hendrix sound and the style?
Well, to be honest, again, I didn't pick up on a Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix, I didn't even know about Jimi Hendrix until a few years after I started playing. I mean, this kid in high school turned me on Jimi Hendrix. When I started playing, I was listening to I was listening to Buddy Holly, Richie Valens.
Yeah.
Buddy Holly was the big one. I had the finals, Moon Dreams and all that kind of stuff. And I remember one time my mom, as punishment, she took those vinyls and she put them in her car.
No.
So I couldn't play them. And she went to work and came back and they were all warped.
Oh, poor thing.
But no, Buddy Holly.
Did you still try and play them?
No, it was a done deal.
It was
you
done.
couldn't, yeah. But Mamas and the Papas, Tommy James and Shondells, anything that was just old. I just liked all. I don't know why. I like that sound.
You were born in Augusta?
I was born in Germany.
Oh, you're born in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you grew up in Augusta, or where did Augusta come from?
Well, Augusta is home to my mother's parents, so that's where our home is.
And home for you has been, where'd you spend most of your time to listening to this kind of music?
Well, when I started off, got into the whole guitar thing, that was definitely in Augusta.
Okay.
We had pretty much stopped moving around different countries or whatever and settled in Augusta. And the movie Crossroads was the movie that turned me on to guitar. The whole classical thing at the end of that movie, it was like, okay, that's what I want to do, And Ralph Macchio wasn't even playing the parts, but it was it was an inspirational movie from a.
And how did you learn the technique of playing?
Getting up around people, underneath people, and having them show you stuff, chords, licks, a scale, one lesson, 1 year in school. They taught guitar for a year. I went to a school where they had guitar, but just instructional videos, like you see right over there, all those instructional videos.
Yeah.
You pay $50 a pop for those, and you just learn, pause, rewind, and sit there and just, if a guy did, you would just kind of, you'd have to watch what he was doing and kind of just figure it out,
talking to Elliot Holden, and on Wednesday, September 9th, performing at Cafe 290. Sounds like it's going to be a wonderful experience, and I hope a lot of your fans do come out to support you for this event.
I hope they do too.